Can I ask you a really simple question today? What do you do just because it makes you happy and brings a smile to your face? What do you do? Not because it's productive, guys, not because somebody needs you to do it. Not because it's good for your career or possibly you can make money from it. Not because it's on your list and you have to do it. Just because you love it. You absolutely love doing it and you get to do it. Did anything come into your head? Anything pop out, Or did you actually just sit there for a moment thinking, well, I quite like watching Netflix now and again? Because I've been thinking about this and I sometimes wonder, when did we stop doing things because they made us happy? Now you might question that statement, but listen to me just for a bit. When we were children, we didn't need a reason to be happy. We danced when a song came on. We drew absolutely awful pictures because we wanted to. We sang into hairbrushes. Oh my God, I remember doing it. I still do it now. Just don't tell anybody. We rode bikes. We scraped our knees. We climbed trees. We made things, origami, macrame, you name it. I made it back then. We laughed at the most stupid things until our tummies hurt, and we played. And nobody ever once asked us, well, what's the outcome of this activity going to prove? How productive have you been today? Because there was no goal, was there? We just did it. There was no talk of return on investment or no 5-year plan. We just damn well enjoyed ourselves. It was amazing. And then sadly, somewhere between growing up, working, bills, families, deadlines, responsibilities, that being sensible thing, being dependable, being the person everybody can rely on. We suddenly forgot. We suddenly forgot that joy. We forgot that happiness. We got very good at managing life and perhaps not so good at enjoying it. Hey guys, welcome back. It's Tina Willis here to This Is Me, All About You. And today I want to talk about everything I've just said. That thing that goes so much deeper than we realize, that word, happiness. Not success, not achievement, not ambition, not how much money you're earning, just that simple, what makes you feel alive? What makes you smile so much? What brings that happiness and joy into your heart? Because let's face it, when did everything become so serious? Do you remember being younger and having absolutely no embarrassment whatsoever? I did. You'd dance, you wouldn't care, you'd sing, you didn't care who listened to you, you'd wear something ridiculous, dress up, you'd laugh too loudly, and you never once thought, I wonder what everybody thinks of me. Never came into your mind. You were just being you. And then we grew up and life got so damn serious. We had jobs, mortgages, kids. We were given targets and responsibilities and so many people depending on us. And, slowly our days just became filled with the things we had to do. Get up, get ready for work, get out there, commute an hour before we got there, come home, cook, clean, answer emails, feed the kids, sort things out, go to bed, start it all over again tomorrow. Like Groundhog Day. And somewhere in the middle of all that, fun became just something we squeezed in when we had time. And let's face it, there was never, ever, ever any bloody time left for us, for the things that we wanted, for the things that were important to us when we were younger. How many times have we said, I'll do it when? I'll do it when I've got more time. I'll start painting again, or I'll book that trip, or when things settle down and things go quiet, I'll read when I've finished everything I need to do. I'll go dancing when I'm less busy, or, I'll take that class when work calms down, or I'll get back to doing things when the kids are older. Oh my goodness, why do we wait? Even I'll do something for myself later. And the problem is, later, it's very incredibly patient, but later never comes. It's going to wait for us forever. Because here's the cold hard facts. There will always be another email. There will always be another washing load, another deadline, another person who needs something from you, another reason why today isn't convenient. And then one day we realise the years have just gone. They've passed so quickly. And the things that once made us light up and smile and bring us joy have quietly disappeared from our lives. So sad, And here's something else I've noticed. We tend to treat happiness like it's something we have to earn. I'll sit down and relax when I finish this, or I'll read my book when everything's done, or possibly I'll go for a walk when I've cleared my emails. I'll do dinner in a minute when I'm ready, or I'll relax when I've earned it. But you know what? When is anything or everything ever going to be done? Seriously? If anyone listening now has ever reached that point where the house is completely sorted, all your emails have answered, every job is finished, everybody's happy, and there's literally nothing left to do, then somebody give me a ring, please, and tell me your secret. It's so true, because life doesn't work like that. There will always be something. So here's the thing, if happiness only happens once everything else is finished, we are going to be waiting a very long chuffing time. We really are. We became so good at being useful. And I think this particularly happens to people who've spent years being needed. You become so damn good at being useful. Useful at work, you're the one that always sorts things out. God, I feel that really intensely, because at home, you're the one who remembers everything. The birthdays, the appointments you have to go on, the doctor's appointments, the dentist appointments, the shopping that needs to do, get the shopping list ready, the plans, who needs what, where everything is, where do you put your keys, where do you put this, what needs doing next. And do you know what? It's so true. That's all I get off my hubby. When do we need to do this, love? When have we got the appointments? When's my dentist appointment, love? Hello, who told me I was in charge of all this? And yeah, it's okay. It's nice being needed, but it's also pretty dangerous sometimes, because if we're not careful, our value becomes connected to what we do for everybody else. And we forget that we are allowed to exist without being useful. Read that again in your head. You are allowed to exist without being useful. You know what? You're allowed to spend an hour doing something that achieves absolutely nothing except making you smile and bringing you joy. That's not selfish. That's what we call being alive. And my question is, what did you love before life got so busy? What did you really love? What did you used to really have a smile about and have some joy about? Before that responsibility took over, before you became who everybody else needed you to be, what did you really love? What was it? Put it in the comments, guys. Was it painting? Was it music? Was it dancing? I love to dance salsa. Was it gardening? Writing? Maybe it was baking. Maybe you weren't very good at it, but you loved doing it. Was it reading or walking in the country with your dog, or taking pictures and photos, or singing like nobody's watching? Was it making things, or knitting, or crochet, or traveling? sitting somewhere beautiful doing absolutely nothing like I do under a tree in the mornings. What did you lose track of? And when was the last time you did it? Not because you had to, because you wanted to. Not because you were good at it, just because it felt like you. Like the real you. And let's face it, you don't have to be good at it. And it makes me laugh, because somewhere along the way, we decided that if we're going to do something, we should be good at it. Who told you that? Who gave you that rule? Because it's a load of absolute crap. Who made it up? You can paint a terrible picture if you want, as long as you love doing it. You can sing completely out of tune. Oh my goodness, my sister does it all the time. You can dance like an absolute lunatic in your kitchen. Yep, I do it all the time. And you can bake a cake that looks nothing like the photo. You can absolutely do it and be absolutely rubbish at it because you're allowed to. Get that in that brain of yours, guys. You're allowed to. You don't have to have money from it. You don't have to become an expert. You don't need to have an Instagram account dedicated to it and get loads of followers, and be an influencer. You do not need to turn your hobby into a side hustle. Because we can, honestly, I really encourage you to do it because it's fun. Because it makes you smile. Because it makes you laugh. And I've seriously noticed something about myself over the years, that there are certain things that just bring me back to me. And it is a walk in the country with my boy. It's music. I love my 80s music. It's creating something like art and painting and writing a book, sitting quietly with a coffee, doing this podcast. I love it. I love having a laugh, laughing at myself, and they might not look impressive and nobody's going to give you an award for them, but they make me feel like me. They make me smile and they bring me so much happiness. And that's what it does. That's what being happy does, and having that peace in your heart. It reconnects you with yourself. Because sometimes we spend so damn long being a role, an employee, a manager, a wife, a business owner, a mom, a partner, however it may look, or a daughter, a friend to somebody. We spend so many of our years having those roles. But whatever those roles are, don't forget that there's a person underneath all of them. And that person needs some feeding too. Not just physically, emotionally, creatively, spiritually. She needs things that make her eyes light up again. What do you need? Because it doesn't have to be huge things, And I don't want you listening to this thinking, right, Tina says I need more joy in my life, I'd better book 3 weeks in the Maldives. But if you do, I'm coming with you, Just do it. Just do whatever you want to do, because I wouldn't let anybody stop you. And sometimes it's tiny little things, It could be singing to your favorite song in the car. How many of you love doing that? It could be coffee somewhere lovely with a friend, It could be walking barefoot on a beach or on the grass. Or having a phone call with somebody who makes you laugh, your bestie, Cooking something you love. Reading a good book for half an hour, I'm in the middle of doing one now. Well, watching the sunset, dancing around the kitchen to her 80s music, or buying flowers for no reason. Could be even it could be even taking a different route home from work or something, or putting your phone away and actually noticing where you are. Happiness is often hiding in very ordinary places. We simply move too fast in life to notice it. Isn't that a fact? Isn't that a fact? And I think this is where I think it gets a little bit deeper, guys. Because have you ever caught yourself saying, thank God it's Friday? And then Sunday evening comes and you say, You're already thinking about Monday. Oh, God, I hate Mondays. I remember saying that years ago, you know? And you spend 5 days waiting for 2. How bad's that? And then you spend part of Sunday worrying about the next 5 days. And suddenly, you're not living anymore. You're just getting through the week. Is that really how you want to live? Getting through the week, getting through the month, getting through busy times and work, getting through until a 2-week break and a holiday, getting through till you get to 67 and you're allowed to retire. I think that's pretty awful and pretty dangerous. Because, you know, these ordinary Tuesdays and Wednesdays we're trying to get through, they're part of our life. They're part of our existence. Life isn't waiting somewhere in the future for us to arrive. Life is happening now. Because yesterday's gone and tomorrow isn't written. You know, life is happening when we walk our dog. You know, life's happening when we drive to work, while we're drinking our coffee. Life is happening all around us, you know, when we're talking to somebody we love. Maybe happiness isn't something we finally reach. Maybe it's something we need to start noticing, because we're running through life on a wing and a prayer. We forget to notice what's around us. You know, and there was a period in my life when so much of my identity was wrapped up in the career, the job. Christ, the targets, the pressure, the achievement, climbing that ladder, being capable, being dependable, getting things done. You know, from the outside, hey, everybody thought, yeah, Tina's got a great job, she's got a great career, she's got it all together, you know, she's got a brilliant salary. You know what? It wasn't me. I lost myself because of it. The higher I climbed, the more of myself I lost. And I don't think I realised it was happening until that day in 2019 when I hit the wall. And that's it. We don't wake up one morning and announce, you know, right, today's the day I'm going to stop doing everything that makes me happy. Nah, you know, it just happens quietly we lose it. Things get dropped because we're too busy. And something else gets dropped because we're too busy. Then another thing we love doing gets dropped because we're too busy. And eventually we can barely remember what we enjoyed before life became so full of crap. You know, part of changing me wasn't simply changing what I did. It was finding who I was, finding who that person was inside. And guess what? I am still discovering her. I haven't finished yet. I'm only just beginning. I'm only just beginning. And it's available to everybody. You know, maybe I've asked you what makes you happy, and maybe, just maybe, you genuinely don't know. And that's okay, honestly. Please don't turn it into another thing that you're failing at, you know. Great, now apparently everybody else is happy and I can't think of anything I love to do. You'll find it. Start small. Think back. What did you love to do when you were a kid? What makes you lose track of time? When do you feel peaceful? You know, you might have loved hopscotch. Go out there and do a bit of hopscotch. Who cares? If it makes you laugh, if it gives you joy, why not? You know, what have you always wanted to try? You know, what do you see somebody else doing it and think, wow, I'd love to do that? Follow the little clues. You don't have to discover your life's passion in one day, guys. You know, we're not looking for your purpose today. We're just simply looking for that little spark of happiness inside of you. What do you love to do? Think about it. Go back. You know, and here's something else. You know, how many things have we not done because nobody else wanted to do it with you? You know, you might have thought, oh, I'd love to go there, but nobody will come with me. I'd love to try that, but my partner isn't interested. I'd love to see that show, but none of my friends fancy it. You know, my hubby doesn't want to do things I want to do. I'll just do it anyway. You know, why does somebody else have to want the same thing before you're allowed to enjoy it? You're unique. Go and try it on your own. Take yourself off somewhere. There's something incredibly liberating about realizing that you don't need everybody else to want what you want. I can choose something because I like it. And when you do that, you're actually choosing yourself too. You know? You have a life. Go live it. And I think the part that I want everybody to hear today is that if you've been feeling a bit flat, if life has just become that Groundhog Day and that routine, if you've started thinking, I don't really know who I am anymore, I want you to hear that you are still there. I know it. The woman who laughed, the woman who dreamed, the woman who was curious, the woman who did silly things, the woman who had ideas, the woman who wanted adventures and who put a song on and danced. She's still there. Maybe she's just been a bit busy. Maybe she's been looking after everybody else. And maybe she's just been surviving and not thriving. Think about it. She hasn't disappeared, And maybe, just maybe, it's time to invite her back. Invite her back. So, here's one small step for this week, which I like doing, and this one should be fun. I want you to choose one thing. Just one thing, something small. Something that serves absolutely no purpose other than you love it. It could be you want to put your favourite song on loud and dance in the kitchen. It could be that you want to buy some paints and start drawing, or get the book out you've been meaning to read, or go somewhere you wanted to go for ages and you wanted to visit but nobody else wanted to go with you. Cook something, or plant something, or make something. However it may look for you. It could be you just want to watch the world go by and sit under a tree. Whatever it is, whatever your thing is, go and do it. And the important part is, don't justify it. Don't earn it. Don't wait until somebody else lets you do it. And don't wait till everything else is done in your life. Just do it. Just go out there and do it. And while you're doing it, see how you feel. Because that feeling you get is telling you something. It's telling you that you're coming back to life, girl. You're coming back to life. So before we finish, I also like to give you today's Tina thought. As every week I do, you don't have to earn the right to enjoy your own life. Let that sink in. You don't have to earn it. All right? And you don't have to finish everything first. You don't have to be a machine. You don't have to wait until retirement. You don't have to wait till everybody else is happy. You don't have to wait. Okay? What's the point of waiting? This is your life too. Go live it. Go live it. Okay. So I'm going to ask you the question I asked at the very beginning. What do you do just because it makes you happy? And if you still can't answer, guys, maybe that's your invitation this week. Go looking. Be curious. Go out there and find it. Try something new. Do something badly. Laugh at yourself. I always laugh at myself. Put the music on. Make a mess of your cooking. Burn your dinner. Have some fun. Because perhaps we spent enough years being so damn sensible. Enough years of being responsible. Enough years of being everything to everybody else. Maybe enough's enough. There is absolutely nothing wrong with wanting ambition. Nothing wrong with climbing the ladder. I love ambition. I love doing things. There's nothing wrong with wanting more. There's nothing wrong with building and growing, achieving and dreaming. But please, Just remember, don't become so busy building a life that you forget to live one. Because here's the truth. Success without happiness is a very expensive way to be unhappy. And perhaps one of the bravest things you can do this week for yourself isn't make a massive decision. It's not reinventing your life. It isn't setting another goal. It's just simply one thing. Doing something that makes you smile. For no other reason than you're allowed to. And you can. So thanks, guys, for spending these few minutes with me. And you know, if somebody popped into your mind while you were listening to this podcast today, someone who's maybe been carrying everybody and everything for such a long time, you know, send them this episode. You never know. It might just help them. And maybe invite them for a coffee. Maybe invite them to go for a walk with you or go for a dance with you or an adventure. You know, maybe they need it. Or just simply remind them that they're absolutely worth everything and that they're allowed to enjoy their life too. So until next Monday, keep believing, keep growing, and have some bloody fun, guys. Enjoy it. You know what? And most importantly, choose you. Choose you. I'm Tina Willis, and this is me, but it's all about you. Believe, grow, and damn well choose you. See you next Monday, guys. Bye for now.